All right, here we are for the post-Christmas wrap, the day after Christmas. Now just 5 days here, and we will get some New Year's. However, the meat of the holiday season is indeed over. I have about 12 days behind me on my passport renewal. What is the path forward at this point? A couple options on the table. One, of course, is I can stay here. It's been all right. I'm suffering from transportation cost. However, looking at cars and knowing the cost that I paid to own my car, I feel like at the very least, the cost I'm paying in Ubers is at least the cost that I would pay in a couple tanks of gas and insurance and some repairs, right? Things I'll need, right? You buy a car. And on the car market is sitting all of these really high mile cars for a lot of money. Very interesting things are at play. I don't know where the higher cost has creeped in on these cars. I mean, some of them trying to sell 200,000 mile vehicles for like $7,000-8,000, which is completely nuts. The affordability problem now, places are suffering more from this than others, notably Las Vegas and Phoenix. Now, I happen to have some insider information on Las Vegas because I was there during the pandemic. And there was not one of these temporary living places. Not one. The price literally went up from a couple $100 a week to $500 a week. Now, Vegas is an interesting place. It's got pretty nice weather in the wintertime. It's a dry heat in the summer. However, if you don't gamble, which I would say vast majority of Americans don't gamble, or if they do gamble, they gamble when they go to Vegas and will get wrangled in somehow into living in Las Vegas. And Las Vegas has some pluses, like I said, some beautiful weather in the wintertime. You could manage the summers as well. The pay is not great in Nevada. So you have this huge population increase that is basically all people that maybe just move there because it's kind of the neighboring area. If you're coming out of California, as I did at one point, I'm like, let's move to Las Vegas, right? Most Californians, as kind of like a getaway, or when you buy a car, will, drive a couple hours to Las Vegas, I'll lose a couple $100, boom, just drive home, right? Even when, was growing up a little bit and stuff like that, so it was kind of like the thing to do. A couple buddies jump in the car, go party in Las Vegas, come back. So I feel like Vegas is catching a lot. Now, let's look at El Paso, Texas. El Paso, Texas, still pretty reasonable. Costs have gone up. But still, this still has to be a relatively cheap, or maybe even the cheapest place in the the West, right? That divide before you start hitting into like Texas and, you know, Oklahoma, Louisiana, the Midwest, right? And plus, you start turning on the humidity, which I don't love. But however, I would put El Paso probably the cheapest place in the West. If you consider, say, New Mexico, which El Paso's like halfway in the New Mexico, kinda backed up against Mexico. I still can't think of a better place where, you know, I thought about maybe changing locations, but, you know, frankly, you know, maybe just a good idea to get an apartment. And here comes in one of the scenarios that many vloggers, many people that go overseas and, you know, really do, you know, like they just sell everything. Sell everything, right? Like Jeffy Poo. He sold everything and went to Asia. I'm never coming back. And, you know, I feel personally like I've discarded lots of things in my life. I wouldn't consider myself an attached person, but I think a person has to have some things. It's been inconvenient. It's been pricey. I don't know that any of it has been worth it, but you generally buy things because you hope to use it. And I happen to have some things. My things have made some fill in. I have not fully benefited from the things down the street in my storage unit. However, if I get an apartment, the good news is boom, I have everything. I did get rid of some stuff. But I have a good amount of stuff that will help me out if I get an apartment. I thought about buying a car. Again, going back to what I talked about earlier. I've done a couple takes on this video, so I'm not even sure what I said earlier, but my point earlier could have been just the overpriced cars on the market. 170,000, 180,000. I mean, these cars are, it's a lot of miles for a car that you may not get to realize without putting some serious money in repairs on the car. So, it was a mouthful. I don't know how it came out. We're coming up here on 2023 super fast. Saturday night. Wow. Like I said, it's been a good year. 2023 is going to be exciting. You wait and see. I don't know what'll happen. But the next 2 months are, you know, hugely critical. I want to, you know, as a part of, I want to try to do my best to avoid signing a lease. I think that's, you know, a contract you don't want to enter in most cases. Because, I mean, what happens if you run out of money? I mean, take all the other reasons aside. Just what happens if you run out of money? You should be able to just quit. You know, the landlord, you know, has an expectation of you know, you being there. Well, you run out of money, you run out of money. Or you want to move, you want to move. I mean, what can you say, right? Location. And I think leases are finished. However, it's still an adopted thing. They want a contract for you staying there. We want you to stay for a year, you know. I think I really, the last place I really stayed and I thought I really liked it was one, Playas, Tijuana. Very, very good apartment. I was there. I almost feel to this day, we're talking years ago, to this day, almost feels like I should have kept paying the rent on that. 3,000 pesos. Seems like, I could have benefited from many times during, I could go there now. Two brothers own that place. I can't imagine them paying more than maybe $1,500 for these apartments. A 2-bedroom apartment, 3,000 pesos, $140, $150, depending on the exchange rate. And the landlord, when I was leaving, I'm like, I'm all done. He's like, oh, come on, stay. Just don't worry about it. He was totally like, ah, don't worry about it. Just stay. Just leave your shit here. Like, I pay storage unit. It's $100. Left a ton of stuff in Tijuana. I packed some stuff out, but left a lot. Left a lot. Danny texted me Christmas time. Anyway, I hope you all are having a great Christmas. Hope you enjoyed the rambles. I'll keep you posted. This is going to get interesting, I promise. This will get interesting. Just everything that's going on. It's going to get interesting. Have a wonderful December 26th.